Hello, everyone.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Awesome. This is Trino speaking, the MC. Unfortunately, our ZESA situation is not going to allow me to show my picture, but you will see my picture. So I can't turn on my audio because I don't have the lighting. But I would like to say welcome to this amazingly new normal. I'm really excited about today because it's the very first virtual book launch that I'll be hosting and that I'm attending officially. So I'm really excited and grateful to the organizers of the event and to the author, of course, for pulling it off regardless of the circumstances. So I see people are joining in, and I was notified that at 18:10 sharp, we start. So we're going to have the normal formalities of starting an event. We would like, perhaps first and foremost, to raise our minds and hearts to the Lord, to commit our event unto the Lord, to commit everything that we're going to be doing tonight unto the Lord for guidance, for protection, for blessing, so that it may be a continual success from this time that it was started until the time that we finish. So at this point in time, I'm going to ask for a volunteer to give us an opening prayer. I think you can show by raising your hand, and our Zoom master, if I can call him that, will highlight you and you can give us an opening prayer. So one volunteer, please, for the opening prayer so that we can kickstart our program. Before I volunteer someone. Yes, I can see Hope Munyari. Could you help us? So over to you, Hope.
Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Give it up for Hope. Thank you very much for committing our event unto the Lord. And now we can confidently dive straight into our book launch. What an auspicious event. And perhaps I can start with myself because we're going to have some introductions. But I think it's fitting that I already demystify from the beginning who I am. So as you can probably see on the main page, my name is Trinus Dongo, but you can call me the Juggernaut. And I'm excited to be hosting you this evening on this unique event, one of a kind, the first, I must say, for myself. And what other Hosa Friday would you have preferred in lockdown but this? So welcome to this event. You know, in such times, it really calls for a lot of fortitude, especially from leaders, when the lockdown has brought so much in terms of mental depression, in terms of job losses, in terms of general progress slowing down, I must commend and salute not only the organizers, but of course the author of the book, People to People, for soldiering on and bringing us together regardless of the situation, regardless of the circumstances. So a very warm welcome to all of you. I assume some of you, if not most of you, are at home. So definitely you will be feeling at home. So feel at home, be at home, and hope you're keeping safe and warm. Temperatures for those that are in Harare and many other parts of Southern Africa. I noticed that it's been quite cold and freezing. So hope you've grabbed your cup of coffee and your blanket and you're tuned in to People to People. I really look forward to the author expatiating on why people to people, especially in such times where people are supposed to be social distancing and locking down. What does he have to say about that? How do we connect as people, regardless of lockdowns, regardless of social distancing, quarantining, isolation, you name it? So I feel this book has come at the opportune time. So we'll now go on to some introductions. I just want to confirm with Dylan if we're set to have a couple of introductions. If not now, we can have them later after maybe the first presentation. So if I could hear from...
Hello, Trinos. Thank you
Yes.
for the introductions after the first speech. But otherwise, I'm so excited and
Hello, my son.
Enjoying the call. Thank you so much.
Osam, the man himself, it's not his time, but he shall come and we'll hear from him. So just a rundown of the program. We're going to have a couple of speeches, presentations from powerful people, powerful leaders out there that are providing leadership, especially in these times of COVID-19, in these times of this pandemic. And they're leading various institutions and they'll be guiding us, and also today, giving us a review of the book, the author, and just that aspect of someone, a young leader, writing their own book. So we have 3 speeches that we're going to have. And then after those 3 speeches, I'm going to call upon the author to also give his speech. And then after the author, we're privileged to have a guest speaker who will also introduce later on, or rather maybe the author will introduce him. And the guest speaker will then have the privilege of launching the book officially. And we have a very exciting segment, which I really encourage all of you to buckle up and prepare. That is the book auction. So the very first copy is going to be auctioned, and it's very exciting. There's a lot in store for the first book. There's a lot of value locked in the first book, which we'll share with you later on. And then after that, we'll have our vote of thanks, closing prayer, and hopefully the DJ can give us another 1 or 2 jams on a Friday night, and the event will be done. That being said, we want to dive straight into the presentations by having our very first speech. I'll start by telling you a little something about our first presenter, a very, very inspiring young man indeed, who is making waves on different platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, our very first speaker for tonight, I can see that is now highlighted there, is a dynamic young man. He's what is called a DTM, how I wish it was dynamic Toastmaster, but in this case, it is distinguished Toastmaster. That is the highest accolade in Toastmasters International, an international organization that provides personal development in the form of effective communication and effective leader. He is the president of Entrepreneurs Toastmasters Club in South Africa, Pretoria. He is also the chairman of Toastmasters Leadership Institute for Southern Africa, TLI, with Toastmasters International. He is the director and founder of Entrepreneurs Hub, that is eHub. Where else could we be as the dynamic young people and more on? And he's also a corporate trainer at JHJ. One fascinating thing I know about him, I had a conversation with his brother sometime in South Africa, and he said to me, don't make the mistake of telling my brother your plans, because once you tell him what you plan to do or what needs to be done, consider it as done, come rain, come thunder. So he's really an action man. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome our first speaker for tonight, distinguished Toastmaster, an entrepreneur, a leader, Andrew Tsuro. Give it up for Andrew. You can clap. There's a clapping option. Over to you, Andrew.
Had you been with us in January 2013, you would have been amongst 200 overzealous young men who wanted to somewhat become honorable in what they do. Amongst those were Dylan, myself, and many other prospective honorable junior councillors who made a mark in trying to become honorable. Now, I don't know about you, but in my circle, I know just quite a handful of honorable people. At that point in time, we had our first matching moment of mentoring and coaching. And I believe it was that moment in February when the whole program started that we got to meet our very first set of mentors who were going to guide us along the journey that we were about to take. And those mentors were in the form of what we call respectable aldermen. I remember that very first day. It was with a few of the guests that were coming in to share with us the experience of what it was going to be like being part of a junior council. But one thing that was prominent about that, it was not about how much academic excellence you showed. No, whether you're coming from a wealthy family or wealthy school, it was about the service you are about to bring to the society. I, at that point in time, really wasn't so certain about where I was going to go to in terms of my direction in my career. But one thing for certain, my people helped me identify the path. I remember vividly one moment when Dylan would come and say to us, my name is Mubu Delorne Mubu. And it was amusing at that point in time. But today, we celebrate the inception of your book, People to People. And I know this is actually where this idea was conceived. If you had been part of the journey, you would have learned that it's not about your academic experience, neither is it about the wealth that you have in terms of monetary value, but more so about what it is that you could contribute to society, because that which you would contribute was what was necessary for us to develop further. Mentors are critically important in our society, in our environment. If you would remember, or if you would know a space called Cape Town, you would learn that Cape Town is a city surrounded by 2 oceans. And yet, 2 years ago, they faced a catastrophic drought of water. Now, isn't it ironic to you that a city covered in 2 oceans was experiencing a water drought? I put it to you that our continent itself is also experiencing a leadership drought. But just like Cape Town, the continent is experiencing a drought, not because, like Cape Town, they do not have the water, but the right quality of water the Cape Townians needed was limited or scarce. Similarly, I put it to you that the right quality of leaders this continent needs is limited or scarce. As such, we need leaders that are going to help us, advisors, to help us propel ourselves to better excellence. I don't know about you, but one thing that I know very well is today marks the milestone, a monumental one for that matter, to help us guide us into the journey that we as the young people are looking into. I've heard it. They've told us that the youth today are the leaders of tomorrow. But like my uncle would always say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. In this case, we need our young people to do something, to show up and face the battles that we need to be fighting on our daily basis. It could be battles dealing with gender-based violence, drugs, crime, or simply economic emancipation. Our continent needs leaders like Delorne, who then spread their wings and impact our society. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And that is the very same concept that we gain from people to people when we talk about the network that we find ourselves with. In this book, in this experience, in this journey that you're about to embark on, how great is your bandwidth? Now, I don't talk about the bandwidth that serves as your data right now, but the bandwidth of the capacity, the fortitude of the people around you. Do you have people who you can rely on to mentor you to become better than who you were yesterday? Do you have coaches to help you, propel you to pursue the ultimate excellence? I'm tired of hearing that Africa is full of potential. I would love to hear that Africa is full of excellence, because this is exactly what it is. And for us to be able to move into that direction, we need to remember, just like Cape Town, which is experiencing a drought of water, our continent is experiencing a drought of leadership. And instead of raising your hand to criticize each and every leader who stands up, I want to challenge you this evening and every evening going forward to raise your hand to serve. It could be by writing your own book like Delorne has done with us today. It could be by sharing your own message like many of the other entrepreneurs or leaders that are doing. But do something, show up, man up, and go on to advise and influence someone. Because as you will realize, the network that you have is your bandwidth. It is your net worth. Make it count. Build the influence. And as we look into today, I look back 7 years ago when I first met you, Delorne. You were a prospective counselor then, but today you've certainly earned the title of becoming and being an honorable counselor. It is a privilege to have known you. It is a privilege to have served with you. But today, as they say, leaders are those that inspire the dreams and actions amongst our society. You are that leader that I look to and relate to and privileged to have known. Congratulations on this book launch, and I look forward to an enthusiastic, enjoyable launch further. Over to you, Mr. MC.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Give it up for Mr. Tsuro there. Wow. What a powerful presentation to kickstart such an auspicious event. Already the tone has been set, the mood has been set, and it really spoke to me when you talked about the hunger for leaders, the hunger for leaders that the world has today, illustrating on the Cape Town issue, where they have so much water, but still they are left wanting for water. And also, it spoke to me how he spoke about influence, which is the essence of people to people. Leadership is influence, and you can only but influence people, and people influence you. That was really a powerful point that spoke to me. And also how leaders inspire dreams. I couldn't have delivered the first presentation better, and I couldn't have set the pace of the presentations for tonight better than that. Thank you very much, Andrew Tsuro, distinguished Toastmaster, CEO, and of course, a leader of note. We'll now progress to our next presentation. Another powerful leader is about to speak and share with us on People to People, on the book, on Delorne himself as a leader and what they think about him. So we can see now highlighted our next speaker. And before he speaks, or as he prepares to speak, I'll say a little something about him. Our next speaker is a mentor and author, very passionate about mentorship and writing. He's the head of programming at the Zimbabwe Youth Council and the chair of a trust called Mentoring Zimbabwe. He loves mentorship of young people and their development. He writes. And guess what? He also reads. It's funny how I noticed some writers are not fond of reading and some readers are not fond of writing. But our next speaker is a jack of both trades. Help me welcome a powerful leader of note to share with us on People to People, to share with us on leadership, to talk about the author, none other than Lungani Zwangobani. And you teach me how to pronounce it.
It's Zwangobani.
Zwangobani.
Yes.
All the best. Take it away.
Thanks a lot. It's exciting to be here, and it's exciting to see a young person who you have seen grow up to reach the heights that Delorne is reaching. I want to say that he has not reached the heights that he intends to reach and the heights we expect him to reach. And this is only the beginning. So we are excited because he has commenced a journey. It's only the beginning. So our excitement must not be an excitement as if it is the end or he has achieved the greatness that he deserved. I met Delorne in 2013 when he was an aspiring junior councillor for the city of Harare. And I was already a junior alderman then. And I was looking for young people who would lead our young people in making a change. And yes, like Andrew Tsuro is saying, you know, when Delorne said Delorne Mubu Delorne, it was sort of funny, you know. But you know, sometimes clever parents will give you these names so that you have an impact before you have an impact on the world. There's always a reason, you know, why people are given names. So it all starts with names sometimes, and from names, you know, it leads to how you carry yourself amongst the people, you know, that you interact with. And life is all about people. And I think Delorne understands that. And I think it's a lovely thing that I really am excited about. The fact that what Delorne focuses on is also what I also focus on, which is human development. And there is nothing more important for me in life more than service to humanity. And when we say service to humanity, we are different from everything else, every creature that God has created, because we seek perfection. And our perfection is never guaranteed if the next person is not perfect or the next person is not nearing perfection, because your perfection can never be reached if everyone else is 100 steps behind you, because you are always, if you are always a step ahead of people, you are always, but you can never be 100 steps ahead of other people. people have to be near you, you know, they have to be developing together with you so that you get to the heights that you want to get. You can't be successful if people around you are not successful. Martin Luther King also says a lot of things like injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. You know, it affects us everywhere. You can't live an isolated life, and I think Delorne is mastering that, and that really excites me. It excites me a lot. So Delorne joined the Junior Parliament, the Junior Council in 2018, and I thought this young man is going to be the junior mayor of the city of Harare. But I know that, you know, young people, when they choose each other, they look at different things before they mature. And I think a lot of young people who look back now may be looking back and saying, maybe we should have chosen him, because Delorne has really shown me that he's steady, he's consistent, he's confident, and that is exactly what you need in life. You need the 3 C's, as they say: confidence, consistency, you know, and competence. You know, without those 3, confidence, consistency, and competence, you cannot achieve what you seek to achieve. And I'm seeing this as Delorne develops into a young person. And our paths are meeting, and I think I can say I am able to speak about Delorne's life because I have met Delorne's parents, I have met his brothers, I have briefly mentored his young brother Tsuro, and I think we need this. This is what we need. We need in life someone that we can mentor, because we learn from them. We learn when you mentor someone, and this is what I've learned when I mentor people. I learn from them, and I'm not just a mentor. I also have a lot of mentors. I have a lot of people that I look up to, and within the Junior Council house, we had a lot of people that we looked up to. And for myself, you know, I looked up to Mtade Ashton Masunda. He was the mayor then, and up to today, you know, I speak to him. You know, he even shares with me certain issues that he's you know, is involved in, and that is important for us, because ultimately we need to make each other better. And I'm excited when Delorne is writing a book. The book I've read, you know, is talking about important issues that everyone needs to, you know, to appreciate at a certain point in time. That's relationships. You know, you can't succeed without relationships. No matter how many degrees you get, no matter how many PhDs you get, you know, no matter how much money you get. We know a lot of people with a lot of money, but if we met them today, we would just look at them because they have money, but we are hesitant to relate to them. We are hesitant, even if they gave us opportunities, some of them will shy away from them because they are not people who would make us better people. Because at the end of the day, ultimately, everyone is seeking for perfection. Everyone is seeking, you know, for their personal success, for their personal achievements, that when they look back, you know, they are proud of. It's not about money. It's not about how much you have, but it's about the inside feeling, the inside development that, you know, I have developed to be a better person. I'm an author myself. I know that writing a book is not easy. You know, my first book took me quite a long time to write. My second book, which I have finished, but I'm still struggling with, because, you know, when you write a book, you read it 100 times before you are confident enough to put it out in the world, because you want it to benefit someone out there. And for Delorne to have put together a book, what you call a book, you know, that someone can read and appreciate its content and make sense of it is really amazing. You know, God gave us this ability, you know, to imitate him and to be creators, just like he's a creator. And if any one of us can create anything, you know, they've achieved that. They've achieved the God-given talent, the first God-given talent, which is to imitate God himself and create something. So, you know, when you create a book, the new creature, it's a living thing that is going out into the world to change lives, to speak to people, you know, and I'm excited and I congratulate Delorne for that, because I think even God is proud of you because you have created something. And with that, I just want to say well done. Keep working hard, and always be positive with what you do. Keep the positivity that we have. The young people that are following you, remember there are always people who are looking at you, who are looking up to you, and you might not know, but you are mentoring a lot of people, and they want to see you succeed. The world wants to see you succeed. We want to see you succeed. Well done, and over to you, MC.
Yes, indeed. The presentations continue to escalate to a higher level. Thank you, Lungani, there for a powerful presentation. And it really spoke volumes about the author. Indeed, what a creative young man he is. Not only is he creating a lot in leadership, but also the concept of just writing a book and creating something. And I must also commend Delorne, as alluded to by the speaker, for the impact that he is making in the youth arena, really inspiring a lot of youths that look up to him, not only his siblings, but also a lot of youths out there. We'll now go on to the final presentation before I call upon the author, who will then introduce the guest speaker after him. The next speaker is another leader of note. I hope you can now see him highlighted on the main page. I'll tell you about the next speaker and then introduce him to come and speak. He's actually a financial services professional, and he's the head of strategy for the rest of Africa. That with Old Mutual. I wonder which is the rest of Africa, but it really is obviously a huge portfolio. Hope he'll expand and share on that. He's an alumni of Wits University, and he's JCI, the Junior Chamber International National President for Zimbabwe. What I also know about the next speaker is he still is freaked out by creepy crawlies. Imagine, since he was a child, up to now, he cannot bear creeping insects and you name it. And also, he still can't get a jab of any kind. He loves philosophy, and he believes that the last years of his life will be spent writing and teaching. Help me welcome, ladies and gentlemen, a powerful presenter, a leader of note, an inspiration of note, none other than Dr. Xolani Ndlovu. Dr. Xolani Ndlovu. Give it up for the doctor.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Mr. Facilitator. I hope everybody can hear me perfectly.
Yes, you're perfectly audible.
Thank you very much. This is a wonderful evening and one that I take very seriously. Given my own experience, it was very nice hearing from the previous speakers just who Delorne is. He is a wonderful young man, and I've really been blessed myself to have interacted with him and hopefully in my small way contributed in his journey. I believe that the few years that I've known Dylan, I've watched him grow from, strength to strength. And I must confess that when he told me that he has an idea of publishing a book, I had my own misgivings, but there was no stopping Dylan in accomplishing what he had set his mind to do. And quite frankly, I've seen him do a few other things that, you would think they're humanly impossible, or they're, for somebody his age and somebody of his social standing who is supposed to be out there having fun. You think, hey, young man, you're probably biting too much for you to chew. But I'm very excited that this evening is happening, and we're all witnessing the launch of his first, I believe, one of his first of many publications. Books are important. Books are a great way to preserve ideas. And the MC made a very good point earlier that some people are readers and not writers, and others are writers and not readers. I think you're really privileged to be in either of that camp, or either of those camps. What you can't afford to do is not to be neither of the two. All great leaders I know are great readers, and I believe Dylan has stacked has put his stick on the ground and is in his own way encouraging us to read as leaders. So he asked me to give a few thoughts around values, attitudes, and relationships, which is a very, very loaded topic. So for me not to waffle, I prepared some notes and a few thoughts that I'm going to leave with you, hopefully tonight. So let me begin by doing the rights. Guest of honor, 2020 JSA President Itai, people to people author Mubu Delorne Mubu, Mr. Moderator, a very capable one for that matter, fellow speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It gives me great pleasure to be amongst this esteemed group of people today, not least because I'm among the people that I truly care about, which is the young people. I've been around long enough to know that youth is like any other process of life, transient. It soon passes. It is soon gone. And often people wonder what happened to it because they were not intentional about making the good use of their youthful days. This is why we cannot afford to waste any tiny bit of it. Anyways, I digress. To me, tonight is a celebration as much as it is a book launch. And I said before that Dylan asked me to share some thoughts about values, attitudes, and relationship. And this is a pretty gothic topic, and I can't pretend that I will do justice in 5 minutes. And I've picked, therefore, a few thoughts that I will share with you, and hopefully you can cling onto a thing or two that will be useful in your own journeys. So I'll start by one of my favorite proverbs from the Bible, which you'll find from the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 20. And it says, and I quote, "He that walks with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed." Wow. Wisdom is a value that I hold very close to my heart, and it comes with its cousins such as understanding, knowledge, prudence, and insight. But that's not the point here. The point is, it matters, who you hang around with. The values they espouse matter more because almost through a scientific process of virtual osmosis, they infect you. It is important to choose our companions wisely. Choose those whose values are aligned to yours, or at least those whose values you aspire to. In the world of finance, where I hail from, research shows that your net worth in dollar terms, I don't think that it matters which dollars we're talking about, but your net worth in dollar terms is an average of at least 5 to 10 people that you hang around with. This means that if you hang around 5 broke people, chances are you are going to be the 6th one. So a companion of fools shall be destroyed because foolishness kills. So the point here is that take stock of the company you keep and seriously review it regularly, checking if their values are aligned to yours, or at least that they line up to what you are actually aspiring for in your life. That's the first point and first thought that I want to leave with you. The second point is, we've looked at values from an outward perspective, that is being mindful of others' values. But what about you as an individual, especially when it comes to relationship? Charity begins at home, and so they say. Whom do you want to attract into your life? Who should you become as a person to attract the kind of soulmate, friends, mentors, business associates, and even playmates that you like? It actually starts with your values. So many years ago, as a young man, when I had a theory that suggests that one should put down a list of the qualities of the life partner they want, I got excited and I had my own shopping list, if you like, of the qualities of a life partner that I wanted. I was quite fortunate that in those early years, I met a mentor who really helped me. They helped me to figure out that the starting point was my own values as a person, because the power was in my hands to change myself to be the person that would attract the person that I wanted to spend my life with. I would attract that kind of person, actually. And one day when I have time, I will tell you of my life partner, how we met and how eerily similar our values were. So you see, those malcontents that walk into your life are not the problem. All this time, you have always been the problem. Fix your values, align them to where you are going, and the rest will line up. So this is the second thought that I want to leave with you. The third and final thought that I want to leave with you is actually a rule. There's a very good book that is out there by a good friend, a good thinker called Jordan Peterson. And in the book, his book 12 Rules for Life is rule number 3. And rule number 3 says, make friends with people who want the best for you. I actually strongly recommend anyone who's struggling with adulting to read that book. Now, this is about your attitude. You see, sometimes people have a low opinion of themselves and they refuse to take responsibility for their lives. And we see this every day. And in their indolence, their choice of companions actually reinforces this vicious cycle. And misery and all the other vices, for that matter, seem to love company. And human beings often make this mistake, and they often accept or even amplify their own suffering, as well as those of others, so that they could brandish it as evidence of the injustice in the world. There is no shortage of oppressors among the downtrodden. And now consider this. Failure and other vices are quite easy to understand. There is no need to explain failure. It is easier not to think, not to care, and not to do. It does seem a lot easier to break the law than to observe it. If you are a driver, you would understand that it does actually seem easier to try and beat the amber light than to actually stop, because it actually says stop. A good friend of mine was joking the other day and saying a daughter of his friend actually, you know how kids learn. So they know that green means go. They know that the red light means stop. And they interpret the amber light to mean actually accelerate, because they have seen their father accelerate in every amber light. So it is easier to actually break the law than to observe it. When it comes to relationships, it's actually easier to make companions with people who reinforce your lowly status in the dominance hierarchy of life. It's a philosophical thought, but one worth really pondering on. It requires some effort to reach out to people who want the best for you and people who are better than you. And people who have taken a conscious step to actually get better in life will tell you that it's actually, and it does require some effort for you to reach out to people who are better than you, or people who challenge you, or people who shine brighter than you, because you are actually threatened by being in their presence because they shine much, much brighter than you do. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to, this is an injunction to you to be more intentional about your attitude adjustment. The attitude adjustment required is the one that moves you to intentionally reach out to make friends with people who truly want the best for you. And Jordan Peterson counsels in his book, and I quote, he says, if you have a friend whose friendship you wouldn't recommend to your sister or your father or your son, why would you have such a friend for yourself? So in closing, let me reiterate that all people matter, but how they matter to you is in a large part a function of your values, theirs and yours, of course, and your own attitude. Another playbook on how we can get better at this endeavor as people is a welcome development indeed. I believe that Delorne has put in our hands another tool that can equip us to get better at relating to other sapiens. Therefore, congratulations, Delorne, and I hope that all those who read your book for this generation and the others to come will be equipped and blessed to be better in relationships. I will stop here for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much there to the doc. Thank you, Doc, for those moving and kind words, powerful words indeed, that really speak true of our author this evening. It really touched me how you talked about great leaders are great readers. And of course, that means when you stop reading, stop leading. So I assume we have 67, or I think at the most I saw it 70 people joining us thus far, 70 readers and absolutely certified leaders. And he who walks with wise people shall become wise. I think this really speaks to people because it's about the people that you work with and associate with all the time. And I must say one disturbing one, which was your net worth is sort of your network. When you say the 5 to 10 people you're with, that's your net worth. I was like, my goodness me, I think I should go back and revisit. We're gonna see a bunch of people here going to start playing with rich people, I'm sure. But it spoke volumes to me about how it's all about the people you spend time with. Thank you very much, Doc, for that amazing presentation. So we're done with the presentations for the evening in terms of our speakers. And now we're going to have the author coming up, and then the author will introduce the guest of honor, who's the guest speaker for tonight, and will also launch the book. So now this is when I wait to see the speaker being highlighted. But I'll give you a little about the speaker, who's the author. He is a very unique gentleman, because just imagine you meet someone and then they say, my name is Mubu. And then you say, okay, Mubu who? And then they say, Mubu Mubu. Like, okay, what's your real name and your real surname? Me being Shona, it just didn't make sense to me. How can you be called Mubu Mubu? Only to discover that it was actually his real name. I thought he was talking about a nickname or something, but the gentleman was actually Mubu Delorne Mubu, and it was not Shona as I assumed, but it was another language. The author is an amazing, accomplished young man who has achieved things that take a lifetime for some people to achieve, even just in terms of awareness and commitment and acceptance of responsibility. He is part of the JCI. I'm sure after introducing so many JCI people today, when I grow up, not only do I want to be in the council that Tsuro was talking about, but to be in the JCI. And since the president is here, I think I'll get my automatic ticket into JCI. He's a Toastmaster with Executive Toastmasters Club. He's an accountant by profession, a leader, and definitely now we can say he is an author. I'm going to ask our Zoom master, or maybe people, could you unmute yourself, because I think this is worthy of a drum roll. So if everyone could be unmuted and we can give our next speaker. Yes, yes, yes. Now they can be muted.
I'm proud of you, proud of you, son. Well done.
Awesome. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, say, thank you so much. I'm trying to just
Mubu Delorne Mubu, the stage is yours.
Hello, guys. Can you just confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone who has managed to join in. I'm so excited, and I'm humbled by the comments that have been coming through. It means a lot to me, to my family, and as well as the organizers for this event. It took a lot for us to be talking about this book, People to People. It has been a journey of 2.5 years now. But the funny part is the first year was just an idea, and I didn't know where to start. All I knew was I had this message which I also wanted to convey to other young people out there, and I didn't have a title for the book, and I'd never written a book before. I didn't know where to start from, and surprisingly, I met the MC for this event, the Juggernaut, and at that time he was mentoring me in preparation for my public speaking competition, and he started talking about how he started writing his books, and we discussed about the idea that I had, and that was last year, sometime in March. This is when the journey then took another level, where we then had to really drill down with writing the book. And I say it has been an exciting challenge. Why? Because I've faced a lot of challenges during the process of coming up with the book. But then I'm so excited because, again, I've experienced a lot of growth. And all I can say is I'm no longer the same after going through that process. So at this time, allow me to acknowledge the first speakers that spoke before me. Start with Andrew Tsuro. Like indicated, we served together in the Harare City Junior Council. I've always looked up to him as a Toastmaster. Being a distinguished Toastmaster is the highest level or accolade which you can attain in Toastmaster. He has not attained it once, but twice. It means a lot for someone at his age. A lot of people look at age and put it as a limitation in terms of what you can achieve, but that's not the same with him. And because of that, I learn a lot. Secondly, with Lungani talked about the journey of the time that we're in the Harare City Junior Council. And I vividly remember that time. This is where my active citizenship journey started, where my mind shifted from thinking of doing things for yourself, but then thinking of the community as well as the country at large, people around you. And the most interesting part of it is when I went to junior council for the first meeting, I was escorting the guys that I was with then at my previous high school church, because I knew they were good speakers and they already had some leadership roles that they had, you know, in the school year, a leader for this and that. And I thought they were going to make it for being a junior counselor. And myself, I just wanted to see how townhouse looked like because I'd never been in there. And then that was going to be it because I knew I was going to be rejected at that time. That wasn't the case. I walked in there, I introduced myself, people fell in love with me. When the time to do the nominations, I was nominated into being the junior mayor. But then as all these events were transpiring, what I didn't hear with myself was the self-belief, the self-esteem to actually see that I could really do it. I was being pushed by this force of people behind me that at that time I would say I let down just because I didn't do enough for me to get that role. But then people like Lungani, I always cherish such mentors because these are the people who made me believe in myself, become so confident as I am now, and not believe in impossibilities, but believe in possibilities, and to be someone who is very respectful, but again, at the same time, being so confident. So thank you so much, Lungani. Moving on to Dr. X. Dr. X, I always remember the first presentation that I attended where he was talking about saving, one having to save for them to deserve something. And that again changed my thoughts and my mentality and who I am now. We had a couple of sessions, opportunities to chat during DCI events, during lunch. And before, I never used to be much of a leader myself, but then during all those interactions that I had with him, it changed me because all the wisdom that he would share, he would cut a book and say that this is in this book, go and read it, Dylan. And besides just reading those books, this is where I then thought of also writing a book so that at least you can contribute to the literature that can also change other people's lives. So thank you so much, Dr. X. He shared with me his routine, which has also become mine. I started a day with audio books, read books. I'm a runner, exercise in the morning. It all came from those conversations. So these are people who have played a very important role in my life, and I'm very grateful for that. Allow me again to thank all the fellow JCI members who are on this call. Much appreciated. I'm very grateful and I'm a proud member of JCI. Fellow Toastmasters, I cherish how organized and the leadership skills that within Toastmasters itself. And Rotaract, again, thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Bandmates, New Apostolic Church, leadership, youth, and everyone has managed to join. I'm really grateful for that. I'll move on to my speech for tonight. So the speech itself, how I prepared it is it's
I think we lost him there. I can't see or hear from Dylan. So perhaps if we could move to the next speaker, I'm not getting any communication from him. I think we lost him there. Absolutely. I tried to hear from Dylan. Yes, we've lost him. And I'm thinking, so that we can maintain the momentum, we still do have our guest speaker who was going to speak after him. Since I'm not getting any form of communication from Dylan, it might be appropriate that we have our next speaker, who is the final speaker, to come in the essence of time and of our data. I will tell you about our next speaker. Our next speaker is a powerful and influential man. We've been talking a lot about JCI, and we were talking about a lot of leadership roles, but this one I'm particularly excited about because they're right at the top of the JCI. It is none other than the JCI president. Gentlemen, I'm really excited to introduce our next speaker, and I must say, it is simple for us now to join JCI, and what better opportunity to join JCI than now when we've got the international president of the Junior Chamber International. Help me, ladies and gentlemen, with the thunderous round of applause, which will be shown by gestures of the clapping hands. Our guest speaker for tonight, the 2020 JCI President International, Itai Manieri. Mr. President, the stage is yours.
1 2 1 2 1 2. You can hear me,
Yes,
right?
testing. 1 2
Thank you very
testing. We
much.
can hear you.
Thank you very much, Tatienda, for the amazing work that you're doing so far, as you are moderating and facilitating this session. I'm not so sure if I'm well qualified to speak at this point before the author himself speaks, but because of technology, we lost him a little bit, and we hope that he can join us anytime from now. Allow me, for starters, to just acknowledge speakers that have spoken before me. Andrew, thank you very much for your words in season. They call you DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, in Toastmaster circles, and you're doing amazing things in your corporation and in Toastmasters at large. Thank you very much for that. A man that I also have a lot of respect for, Lungani. I respect him for the young people that go through his hands all the time, every year, making sure that they're awake to their civic duties and how they can also add their voice to the direction of present day society and influence the future. And I think this is a very proud moment for you today, Lungani, when you see one of your own that came through your hands doing such amazing works and being a go-getter and a trendsetter like Mubu Delorne Mubu has done today. Thank you very much for the work that you do. Next is my brother, Dr. X, a friend and a brother. Thank you very much, Doc, for your presentation this evening, and the work that we've also been able to do together in the journey as young active citizens being young people that are out to influence their tomorrow, young people that are out to impact greater society in a small way, but that one that can actually outlive us when we've walked off the face of this earth. So thank you very much to the speakers that have come before me. And most importantly, Delorne, for the work that he's put in this book. A young man that I met in 2018, and from the first time that I interacted with him, he's always shown me the hunger to succeed, the hunger to move on, to be better than yesterday at any point in time. And that is the man that we have today. And today he's put together a book that he's worked on over the past 2 years, an amazing piece, I must say, and one that he wrote straight from the heart. I could feel his emotions. I could feel him speak in that book when I had a chance to read it. And I just believe that the best is yet to come as far as Delorne is concerned on this journey and beyond. But for starters, you know, we are in this period of lockdown and COVID happening. Allow me just to perhaps pay condolences to those that might have lost their loved ones because of this virus that was delivered to us in 2019, but has locked down the whole world in 2020 and has forced us to be Zoom masters, as it were, or Microsoft Team masters, as it were, and many other tools that we have started to use. I pay my condolences to those that have lost their loved ones, who have been affected. Some have lost jobs, some have lost livelihoods, some have had their businesses shrink, and some are not even operating at this point in time. It is my greatest hope that we can, as a people, reach out to each other and support each other and be those that can put into action this people to people that we talk about and the relationships that we talk about, to be able to help each other out in this time of crisis. Some are having it worse than you are. So I just would like to put that out there. And just as I was preparing to speak for the next few minutes on this book and the title and the thrust that this book has, it got me thinking about the importance of relationships. It just awakened my thoughts to the importance of the need for us to connect as a people. For starters, for us to just appreciate that before anything else, we are a part of the human race. And as such, we should see each other as such and not discriminate each other because of race, because of tribe, because of our background, because of even perhaps misunderstandings of people that came before us. But be a people that can see each other face to face as a people, and we can hold hands together and move forward. I often have heard how people talk about other races or other religions are more progressive because they tap into the human capital that they have. And everyone says, this business is run because it's run by a person of X color. But these ones are more progressive because they unite together. And therein comes a call and a cry to say, we can be a better people only if we put our hands together and network together and tap into the capacities that we have. When we're in business, are we that comfortable to give business to each other? Are we able to relate together as a people in order for us to lift each other up in present day society? And it's a challenge to everyone for us to do that. It also gives me to start also even thinking about the common term that's thrown around, the spirit of Ubuntu, where people even talk about how Ubuntu ngabantu, where we say, I am because you are. When I start to think of issues to do with even camaraderie, where you give someone support because they are one of your own. It's some of those things that we have lost over time, and that is important for us to move forward as a people, to support each other in whatever we do. Where I also believe, where I come from, no person is their own maker. There is always a support structure around you or behind you or working behind the scenes for you to move from point A to point B. And therein lies the importance of relationships and friendships. We see how people have come out today to speak a lot about Mubu, and everyone has been able to come into his life at a certain point in his life, and he has seen the value that is there by being in some form of relationship with those people. And some have come in to be mentors, some have come in to be friends, some have come in to learn from him, to seek, to get inspiration. And therein lies, and with such people around you, we can only become a better people. So I can never, ever downplay the importance of us being a people that support each other wherever we are. There have been statements thrown around like your network is your net worth. Who is it? They normally say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. That's in line with what Dr. X spoke about. But at the same time, your network gives you an idea of how far or how near you can go. So tapping into networks is very important. And most importantly, not networks where you say, I can get, but I've seen the strength of networks thriving when you go in and say, how can I be of service to you? How can I help you out? And when that happens, someone is more comfortable in building a more sustainable relationship with you in the future and beyond. So I believe this book is a book in season. It's a book that is relevant for us as a people here in Zimbabwe, where we say we need each other. Number one, to turn around the fortunes of our country. Number two, to just move from point A to point B and progress as a people. We need each other more than ever before, without necessarily looking at our backgrounds to say, okay, you've got money or you don't have money or anything like that. But for starters, just that we're just a people. We are Zimbabwean first before anything else. So I believe this is a book that's come out at the right time. And I congratulate Delorne on this book. I believe in his capabilities. He's one young man that from the first time that I met him, I said, this young man will go very far. We've had so many different conversations with Delorne, some that I might not necessarily have the time to talk about today, but at every point in time, you just watch in awe and you say, wow. And I will be there to watch him rise to the highest level that he can ever dream of. They say the sky is not the limit. I'll say to Delorne, there is no sky. Just rise as if there is no sky, because even on top of the clouds, they saw footprints. So the world is your oyster. It's there, it's out there for your taking. And I wish you all the best. And as you launch your book today, I say, I hope every young person can have this in their hands and appreciate the importance of relationships on their way up, and also because even when you come down, you need those relationships. Congratulations, Delorne, and I wish you all the best. And thank you very much for having me here this evening. Thank you very much.
Yes. How better could I have ended it than remember, you need people on your way up and you might need them on your way down. Thank you very much, Mr. President. That was a profound presentation that moved me in ways beyond words. And it really spoke to me when you mentioned the issue of the essence of networking, which is a call of uniting people, uniting a people, and it culminated in the Ubuntu concept. Ubuntu ngabantu. That was brilliant, and I think that's the essence also of people to people. It is about people and how they network together. And I love when you mentioned, show me your friends and I will show you who you are. Wow. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of shifting of friendships over the weekend and coming up, because it really spoke volumes as to also self-introspection and seeing where can I make changes, who am I hanging around, who am I playing with. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I think for all the people here present, what better gateway to getting into the Junior Chamber International than through the president himself. Thank you very much. And what I'm going to do, Mr. President, you're not yet off the hook. I just want you, but you're not giving a litany. I just want you in a minute to literally officially launch the book. So perhaps the weather just at 1926 hours, or maybe it'll be 1928 hours, I officially launched the first book. And then when you hand back to me, we're going to auction the first copy. So when I grow up, I want to dress like you, but I think we can have more of you now. So, Mr. President, back to you. Could you please officially launch the book? I don't know if you're going to cut an imaginary ribbon or what, but back to you, just a minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies, and to everyone that's connected to us, connected here today. At 2017 hours, GMT plus 2 hours. Come on, this Zoom has now taught us about time zones. 1927 hours, GMT plus 2. I would like to officially declare Mubu Delorne Mubu's book, People to People, officially launched. And I cut the ribbon.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Unmute and make
Thank
some
you very much.
noise. You can see the imaginary scissors and the ribbon there. Could the people be unmuted and
Go Mubu, yeah.
Congratulations, Delorne.
We would have loved to hear you speak more, but lovely. Well done.
mute? Now, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President, for that launch. Couldn't have done it better virtually. Now, we want to go to the final part of our book launch, which for me is the most important part. We've made so much noise, ululating, celebrating this milestone, this footprint on the universe and the footprint in the world. But we want to put our money where our mouths and support are. We want to put value on the author and the author's work. So we're going to have the first book being auctioned, and all of us here, that is the 70 of us, are welcome to participate in the auction. And the particular book being auctioned with its package will go to the highest bidder, but we'll also take note of the second and third highest bidder, and we'll tell you what's in it for them. So I'll give you the instructions of how it goes. It should just take us about 10 minutes. It shouldn't be a very long auction. And the faster you bid high, the better. I remember watching one auction, which was one of 2 Rolexes in the world, and the bids opened at $1 million US. So as they were progressing with the bidding, you know, they got to 2-3 million, and then one auctioneer just got up and said $25 million US. And the auctioneer was quite disappointed to say, look, you've cut our time on the auction. So that's your best way to cut on the auction in terms of time, by just throwing an extremely high bid. So I'll start by explaining the package, and then we'll give instructions, and we'll go straight into the auction. For the highest bidder, that is the person who bid the highest amount in terms of money, and obviously it's going to be US dollars, because I doubt if those bidding RTGS will be able to compete with us bidding US dollars, will get number one. So to the highest bidder, right? I hope you're listening attentively and preparing your wallets, your purses, and your pockets. The highest bidder will get an autographed hard copy, that's paperback, of the book People to People, that is autographed by the author. Number two, I hope you're listening carefully. The highest bidder will get a one-on-one, 1 hour public speaking training session with a ZBC TV presenter, three-time champion of public speaking in Zimbabwe and Zambia, Toastmaster, director of Toastmasters in Zimbabwe, yours truly, the juggernaut. So the highest bidder will get 1 hour with the juggernaut one-on-one for public speaking training. You will also get one-on-one training in a masterclass on persuasive influence, and also another session on leading with emotional intelligence from one of the speakers, that's Andrew Tsuro. So that's the third item. And then the fourth item, that is only for the highest bidder, is a book by the juggernaut, which is Your Voice, Your Invoice, the basic fundamentals of effective speaking and how you can make money by turning your voice into an invoice by being paid to speak. And also his other book, which is the third item, Mind Your Own Business. And then last but not least, you also get 1 hour with the author of one-on-one on mentorship. And depending on how high the bids will go, I'm sure we'll also put the other speakers on the spot to maybe you can also get an hour of the other speaker's time. But with the powers vested in me as MC, I know I'm going to get 1 hour of Dr. X, of the president, and of Lungani's time as part of the package. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the package, and we'll only go to the highest bidder. For the rest of us, we are able to purchase the book at $10 US. It will be available in paperback, and also I'm sure online options will come. So I'm going to open the bids at $10 US, and then we'll go up. We're thinking we can make use of the chat platform, because what we want to hear from you as a bidder is the amount that you're bidding. You can go along with me because I'll be you can also just shout out the bid that you are bidding. So are we good to go? And may we all mute our microphones? Yes, yes, we're good. Okay, oh, it was paying $60 US going once, $60 US going twice for 3 books. Is that going to be our highest bid? I think we're just getting started. It was $65 in the room, $65 for, we've got £50. Olivia, please expatiate on that one. £60, that's approximately, I think, times 1.5, isn't it? So how much will that be? I think £50 is the highest from Olivia going once, which is approximately about $75 US, or $70 US by Tendai Musa, $70 US by Tendai Musa for 3 books. And it's now, I think it's going to be 5 hours, one-on-one with each speaker of a specific training. That's Andrew, that's President Itai, that's Dr. X, that's Lungani, and that's also the author, and also myself, the juggernaut, on a one-on-one public speaking training. So 70 US and £50. Let's just take the £50 to be the highest bid. 75 US going one. $75 US going twice. Is that the highest bid? I think, why don't we just get to 100? Do I have $100 US in the room? It's $100 US, and it's 1937. The auction will be over. Do I have $100 US in the room for book people to people, for the book, the voice to invoice, for the book, mind your own business, for one-on-one trainings with all the speakers and the director of ceremonies as well on separate occasions. I think our highest bidder is standing at 70 and 50. Remember, one the top. So this package will go to the highest bidder. So $75, which is £50 in this case, going once by Olivia Tengende. $75 going twice. $75 US. Shall I say sold? Sold. So that is Olivia Tengende Mubu is the highest bidder at £50, working with a rate of 1:1.5. And so I'm excited to announce that Olivia Tengende, Minimami in the UK, is our highest bidder, and she will get the 3 books. And she will also get a one-on-one online training with the Juggernaut on public speaking, a one-on-one training with Andrew Tsuro. I think it's a masterclass. Also a one-on-one Dylan Mubu, and also you will, with the powers vested in me, I've also put the other speakers on the spotlight. That is Dr. X and also the President Itai and also Lungani. So thank you very much. That marks the end of our auction. So could you just unmute and give it up for Minimami for the staggering support there. Woo! So at this point in time, I would like everyone to put on their video. Could we all put on our videos for a photo moment? Videos for a photo moment. And I also mentioned that for those that were bidding, we had the highest bidder at, let's say, £50, and then the second highest at £70, $70 US, they'll get a package. The third highest is 65, P Mubu will also get a package. And then there'll be something in it for Tendai Musa at 50 and Ogra at 50 as well. And finally, P Mubu, okay, they then went to 65. So all the deals up to 50 will get something special, but of course, Mama Mimi getting the highest. So our videos are on. Unfortunately, due to Zesa, I cannot put on my video, but I think my picture will suffice. I'm also seeing the distinguished Toastmaster in the room, Edmore Gamundani. I'm going to give him a minute before he closes because I was hearing a lot about Toastmasters. I think in a minute, and I know he can do a minute, especially impromptu, because I also heard in Toastmasters they do that, but I'm seeing a lot of Toastmasters in the room, JCI people, professionals, to the organizers. Justice. I hope I've done justice to have cameras on. I can't put mine on because I'm in the dark, as Zesa thought otherwise, but I think pictures for those who cannot put on their pics will suffice. So once again, as that is going on in the background, and as we're preparing for a brief on Toastmasters by DTM, and then the vote of thanks and closing by Delorne, I just want to make the final announcement to say our highest bidder at £50 is Tengende Mubu Olivia. That's Minimama at £50. And then the second highest is Tendai Musa. They will get a 3/4 package. And then P Mubu at 65 US will get a 60% package. And then a 65% package. And then Panache Bruce at 60 will also get a 60% package. And then Tendai Musa at 55. Okay, Tendai then went to 75, doesn't count anymore. But Ogra at 50 will also get a special package of 50%. To the organizers, Mr. Zoom Master, are we good on the photo shoot? Because I can see all videos are on and pictures are on. Just confirm that. As that is going on, would like to call upon the distinguished Toastmaster Edmore in just 1 to 2 minutes to expatiate on Toastmasters, and then we'll hand over to Mubu for the closing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Juggernaut. And I would like to recognize the JCI International President, Dr. X, and previous speakers. Unfortunately, I was not able to hear the previous speakers because I was in another meeting that we are organizing an event for Toastmasters District 74, which is Southern Africa. I have a lot of respect for servant leadership. And as a young man, as you can see, I've got salt and pepper. I cannot declare that I'm still very young. I used to have in the description of our language, Shona, rimwe gumbo muupu, rimwe mushuga. Once upon a time, I will not distinguish between which is the sugar and which is the mealie meal. But at one point, I was a member of JCI and I was a member of Toastmasters as well. And there were quite a number of people who were also the same, a member of Toastmasters and a member of JCI. And one great thing that I learned from these organizations that I believe has made me is the issue of servant leadership. Firstly, active citizenship. Being young, you need to be responsible for your country. And on the other end, on the Toastmasters front, we say Toastmasters is where leaders are made. And we believe in experiential learning. And both organizations teach the same. You learn to speak by speaking. You learn to lead by leading. And as international organizations, they are great platforms to develop our capabilities. And I believe these two organizations, they transform lives. My life has been transformed. The lives of so many people has been transformed by such organizations. In Toastmasters, it's really about service, and it's also about creating a platform where people can serve. Mubu Delorne Mubu, I met him recently in Toastmasters when he joined Firebrand. I would totally agree with the JCI president. There's just something in him. There's this hunger and there's this drive to want to achieve excellence. I've not yet read the book, but I'm going to buy a copy and I'm going to read the book. But in all this, I think it's an element of service that we're bringing across. I think the challenge that we have in our world is not because we're not capable, but at times we're not guided accordingly. And at times we do not have leaders that probably show us the way. But being in these organizations and allowing young people to express themselves and also to serve, it assists the world. I strongly believe in young leaders, and I strongly believe that we are capable. And particularly in our country, my heart bleeds when I see young people at times being misdirected. But in this, I would urge young people, you've got an opportunity to join JCI. you've got an opportunity to join an organization like Toastmasters so that you're groomed, so that you are molded in order to be able to serve your community. And there's one great saying that I share every time. Service to humanity is the best work of life. And that is JCI. And I'll always, that saying is etched in my heart, and I'll continue to support people who would want to achieve that greatness by service. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And Dylan, all the best. There is a blinding future ahead of you. Just stay focused and keep going. Thank you.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster. Indeed, Mubu's future is so bright, he needs some shades. So maybe you can give him a gift of shades to look into his lustrous future. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to our phenomenal speakers. Thank you, DTM, for this extemporaneous speech. I'm sure in Toastmasters, they teach impromptu speaking and how you can prepare for an impromptu speech like what you did. I can't believe that you spoke off the cuff. And thank you, Delorne Mubu Delorne, who will be our final speaker to give us the closing mark and vote of thanks. Just to sum up on the auction, which was the highlight of the event, we had our highest bidder in pounds, British pounds, not Cyprus pounds, at £50, which I feel translates to slightly more than $70 US. That's Minimami Olivia Tengende, who was the highest bidder at £50, and she'll get the complete package, which is the 3 books and 5 one-on-one trainings from the speakers and the director of ceremonies at times and appointments of her choice. And then we've got the second highest bidder, Tendai Musa, at £70. She'll get a slightly less package. Or is it he? We'll get a slightly less package at $70 US. That's the author's book as well, and I think another book, and then probably 4 hours of the trainees. And then we've got the third highest bidder was P Mubu at $65 US. They'll also get a package, which is about 65%. That's the 3 books and I think 3 of the trainings. And then we'll also have Panache Bruce at $60 US. You also get a 60% package. And last but not least, Ogra at $50 US. You will get a 50% package of your choice. That being said, we've come to the conclusion of the book launch, and I would like to hand over to our author, Mubu, and I really spare him to cut the speech short. No Toastmasters are speakers, but I also know they speak in time, and also give our closing remarks. We want to end by 2000 hours or before. So over to you, Mubu Delorne Mubu. It's MDM, Managing Director Mubu.
Okay, thank you so much, Trinos. My sincere apologies to everyone for the hiccups that we experienced earlier on. I'm back now. I hope everyone can hear me. Can you just confirm?
Confirmed.
Okay, thank you so much. To my mini-mommy, thank you so much for bidding for the book. That means a lot. I've always been there to support each and everything that I do. From afar, I feel the love, the support. It's amazing. Thank you so much. And to a brother, Ranmate and mentor, the 2020 JCI World President. Thank you so much for your speech. I would like to believe you have inspired and motivated a lot of our young people, as usual. I'm a product of your good work, your hard work. From afar, despite having to chart and being there to mentor me, I've always observed how you do your work as an entrepreneur, as an active citizen. And I'm inspired. We have achieved a lot that would really seem impossible, but you have unpacked it to be something that's possible. Thank you so much for that. Because of time, I'll just go through straight to some of the questions that I received from people with regards to the book. As people were RSVPing, they had an opportunity to write some questions on what they wanted me to cover with regards to the book. The first question was, why did I choose to write a book? I would want to answer that first. I had a near-death experience where I had about 6 people holding knives, and up to date, I do not really understand how I managed to escape that moment. And for me, it was a wake-up call that I think each and every one of us were going to die at some point in time. And what then matters is, what are we going to leave? What kind of a legacy are we going to leave when we're dead, when we're gone? What are people going to remember us for when we're gone? Because of that now, I'm not afraid of death, because I know all of us are going to die. I always say this, and people think I'm crazy when I say it, but I'm afraid of dying and being remembered for the wrong reasons, or not being remembered at all. And for that now, I'm pushed to do all the work that people might see through JCI, through Rotaract, through Toastmasters, each and everything that I do, because I'm trying to make an impact. If I had a lot of money, I would be doing some financial support, but I do not, so I pledge my time and my other resources to make sure that at least I give it positively to the community. So I believe that this book, again, it's a self-help book, which when one reads, they're going to be transformed. They want to be the same. They will learn something out of it. And the other question that I was asked is, what then inspired you to really write about relationships? The main reason is I've got a lot of people that have been good to me for no reason, people that I can't pay back, people that have never asked me to retain certain favors, people who have always been there when I needed them. And because of that now, it's, when I look back, I see some other young people, some friends, some colleagues, they struggle sometimes with trying to create some good relationships or strategic relationships with people. And I've sort of like been observing maybe some of the things that could be going wrong. I do not have all the answers, but part of what I share in that book is maybe certain things that I've tried to do for me to get to where I am, to get the support that I've received. And that's what's also in that book. Another reason why I chose the topic or wrote about the book is
Is it just me or the speaker is on mute?
He must be on mute. I can't hear him. Delorne?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
In the essence of time, may you wrap up, because
okay, thank you so much.
On the dot, yeah.
Okay, cool. So now I'll wrap up. This book I dedicated to my siblings. I've got 7 amazing siblings. Before I became a leader anywhere else, I'm a leader at home. And there's 7 siblings. That's Daro, Nangalelwa, Nasishemo, Mosiku,
Dylan, you're back on mute.
I think someone might be muting me there, Mr. Zoom Master.
Sure.
Okay. If you can hear me now,
40
I'll just
seconds
say
to
the
wrap
book.
up.
Okay, cool. So the book is dedicated to my siblings. Then I'll move on to the vote of thanks. Thank you so much to all those who have supported the journey. I've got a lot of people that I'll start with you, Trinos. You're the editor for the book, but not only that, you managed to inspire the whole journey. I've got some people that contributed in the book as well. It's an opportunity to interview certain people to assist with the research. We've got Mr. Stuart Nyagatswao, the local president for JCI Capital. We've got Mr. Simbarashe Musukumi. Thank you so much. Arnold Mohango, the New Apostolic Church District Apostle Helper. Thank you so much again to Mr. Warren Kapara. Thank you so much for your contribution. Laura, thank you for your endorsement. President Itai, thank you for the forward for the book. We had a lot of people that managed to remove the chaff, which was in the book, through proofreading it. Thank you to Auntie Grace. Thank you, Auntie Sabelo. Thank you, Uncle Imboa. These are people who dedicated their time in order to make sure that this book comes into play. Last but not least, I would like to also thank my parents, Mr. Humphrey Mubu and my mom. They are always there to support each and everything that I do. And because of that now, I'm really grateful. And to all the young people out there, I'd like to say you've got your own stories, you've got your own goals or ambitions of certain things that you want to achieve. Like what President Itai said, the sky is not the limit. Go for it. Make sure that you associate yourself with the right people. Stay away from the people that steal your energy. That's very important. Have good mentors, approach them. It's not everyone who's going to open their door for you, but again, do not tire. And again, creating these relationships is not easy, but you know what it means to you. You know what you want to achieve. Always keep on knocking. Be a hard worker. Be forgiving. Do not accept what people say about you. You know exactly who you are. And I would say a lot, but again, for you to really understand who I am, what I think, and my beliefs, my values, please go up and read the book. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Let's keep on connecting, talking, even after this book launch. I really appreciate everyone who has joined, who has been part of this journey. Much appreciated, guys. It has been amazing, bigger than myself. Thank you.
Awesome. Woo! Thank you very much, everybody. This marks the end of our auspicious book launch, an amazing event. I must say the book is now available. It will be available paperback form and I think online as well at US $10. Confirm the price. Thank you very much, everybody. This marks the end of our auspicious book launch, an amazing event. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Did we get an opportunity to take some pictures?
Yes, we did. We'll do that. So just to wrap up, thank you everyone for attending, and thank you for the amazing support we had on our auction with Tendai Musa, Olivia Tengende, P. Mubu, Panache, Bruce, and Ogra. They are walking away with packages on the bids of the auction. And then to everyone, the book is available at US $10. Confirm, Dylan, $10 for a copy.
Yes, it is. And deliveries will be starting tomorrow. We've got a lot of people who have put in orders for Father's Day, so tomorrow is going to be a busy day. Thank you again to all those
what better gift for Father's Day than that one? So the books will be available for $10 without packages. And for those that I mentioned on the bids, the 5 people, they will walk away with the book plus other books and packages. We'll get in touch with them in their WhatsApp inboxes. And thank you very much once again to everyone from the crew behind the scenes. I know one of the speakers, Andrew, was behind the scenes, did a lot of work there. Once again, my name is Tatenda Trinos Dongo, but you can call me the Juggernaut. I'm a ZBC TV presenter, three-time world champion, three-time Zimbabwe and Zambia champion of public speaking with Zimbabwe and Zambia. And I'm a public speaking trainer and leadership trainer, mentor. And also I've written 2 books, Your Voice, Your Invoice. And also the second book is Mind Your Own Business, How to Start and Run Your Own Business. I also host the only entrepreneurial TV reality game show in Zimbabwe called Ndinetaza. So you catch us on ZBC. At this point, from the crew behind the scenes and myself, the Juggernaut, I'm out. So let's unmute and celebrate and listen to music.
Thank you, guys.